What's up, guys? This is David and
Steve.
And we are going to watch Blood, Sweat, and Gears, my senior project for film school. And for this part, I actually wanted to do a sunrise, but the weather never cooperated. It was always just boring and cloudy. Every time I went to the beach, like literally, it was just boring and cloudy. So it was not worth doing that. So instead I did a boring phone alarm, which is disappointing. Oh, the time lapse. I literally stood in the cold for about 30 minutes filming that whatever 5-second shot, because to do a time lapse you have to let it run forever. And that was hard to do by myself too. All these shots, this is all by myself using my suction cup mount I do for my video reviews, and I just drove around town letting it record. Poor Matt and his slammed Mini.
Always having problems with it.
Hey, look at you.
That's in Yorktown.
Yorktown.
On Colonial Parkway.
We never done any shenanigans there.
No, we haven't.
That was, what's funny is that shot of the statue, my director was like, I really like that shot, how it's shot at a Dutch angle. And I'm like, what you mean, because it's crooked? He goes, yeah, it's edgy. I'm like, whoops.
Hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Funny story about those tires you just saw. Those are our friend Gaz's, the 350Z, and one of them basically had a hole in it, and he was trying to pass inspection with other tires. Oh, this part is so cliche because I actually thought about it in the shower, and I was sitting in the shower and I was like, how am I gonna introduce Steve? And he's like the main guy of the movie, and I was like, oh, you know, well, I'm kind of quirky and I'm kind of silly, so I guess I'll just have him literally pop up. There she is.
The first car that I ever put money into.
Yeah.
Oh, the Eclipse. So much trouble did I get in that.
DSM, bro.
That was right after we fixed the whole entire front end.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It took us, what, 4 or 5 hours to fix the front end?
Seriously? Lotus Elise. I went through so many different shots just for that one segment, and that ended up being the best one. They like caught it the last second, if you couldn't tell, the shaky up. That was, oh, funny story with that cop shot. A guy did a burnout in a Jeep Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, and that's why he got pulled over. That's not Steve getting pulled over, if that's what you guys were thinking.
It probably would have been funny if it wasn't.
It would have been perfect if it was you. This day interviewing you was rough. We had people always keep going by, and the wind kept picking up, and so, you know, when you have a microphone, it was just atrocious.
The cop.
The cop, too. The cop went by. If you notice in my behind-the-scenes video, I'll put a little link up. He goes right by, and you can see Steve's terror in his eyes. Is he coming by?
Later though, he stopped and asked us what we were doing.
I know. Thankfully, my camera looks like a photography camera. I use a Canon T3i, which is just a DSLR photography camera, which also shoots video. And other people were asking me how far away Powhatan is from my house, and in my hometown it's only about 15 miles, so it wasn't too bad of a trek to go see Matt and Jake. And Matt has helped me so many times with videos, it's not even funny, so I figured I'd give him a segment in it. With my other interviews fell off the cliff. I originally had an interview with a few tuners, you know, like Melon or...
It would have been great to get Matt from 1320 Tuning.
Oh, that would have been awesome too. Matt, there's always a sequel.
Sure.
The Prelude. The Prelude's name is Lulu for Prelude, and we're about to, in that piece of, dude, that Impala that we talked about in the movie, his interior, it's gone. There's just seats. That's all that's left. And the money pit. Do you know how much you've actually spent on the G, like ballpark, like including your system and?
I've probably spent right around $2-3 grand so far.
That seems to be like the average of when people kind of peak. Like that's when they're like, okay, what's next? Without spending big, pedo bear, without spending big money. And okay, my professor, he kept thinking that Gaz, the guy who was working on the wheels, was me. he kept saying, "That's not you." I'm like, "No, that's not me." And he also kept thinking that the 350Z was Jake's car, the guy talking right now. And I'm like, "No, it's his Honda he's talking about." He goes, "Well, do you have footage of his Honda?" I'm like, "Well, no, it's not done yet. It's not running, so I don't have any footage of it." So the only thing I got was really his engine bay.
Whose car is that on top of?
That's Matt's Prelude. That's from the POV driving video from, I think, last fall? Somewhere around there. But poor Jake, his car still isn't running, but hopefully it will be eventually. He has an H22 swap, just like Matt does. But it'll be interesting to see if they ever run each other.
Yeah, that Prelude's not the slowest one either.
And no, for being a naturally aspirated Honda, it runs 14.5 at the track, and that's not too bad.
Yeah, me and him, granted we didn't get any video. We did run, and he kept side by side with me while I had 4 people in my car.
That was really funny. Oh, man.
And here's where I start getting into what parts I've gotten in my car.
This was pretty tough to shoot as well because Matt, if you notice in his interview, when he goes on about his, like when he says, "I've had some not heavy modifications," and then he says he has an engine swap. And you're like, really? But he went on and on and on, and I had to cut him short. Like you, I also had to cut short with how much you had, because this was only the second year at Regent where our senior projects had to be only 10 minutes long. They used to be able to go to about 30. So I had to cut out almost everything. Oh, man. I think we're at, Cars and Coffee.
That day was terribly cold.
So cold. I was just about to say, Steve knows after about maybe 10 minutes of shooting, I was over it. I just wanted to be done. And you know, to operate a film camera, you can't really do it with gloves. And so if you notice a lot of the footage, it's shaky. And it's not because I'm a terrible steady hand. It's because I was cold.
That was what, the beginning of
March. It was
March, and it was like 40-something degrees that day.
That guy who owns that Superleggera, that guy who owns the Superleggera is very kind, kind of a rarity in Lambo owners nowadays. That S2000 is a monster. If you see in the behind the scenes video, you see it do a pull and it gets all over the place.
That was, the pull was filmed at that Cars and Coffee.
It was, yeah, it was filmed at the same exact one. A second ago we saw Chris Mellon from Mellon Tuning. He does that's Chris Mellon's son, Austin, and they tune Evos and make monsters. Dana, it's one of our friend's girlfriends. That's Matt.
There's Matt. Guess what he's getting ready to do?
Cut on the Mini. Work on the Mini Cooper. Oh man. Gin Rose. We tried to put this in the film where we say that Gin Rose is very different from Cars and Coffee when it comes to behavior, but we didn't have time. But Gin Rose is a completely different atmosphere than what Cars and Coffee is. But it does happen every weekend on Friday and Saturday, so it's kind of hard to pass up.
They really don't care what you do, just as long as you're within legal limits of what you do.
That right there, I've had a lot of people ask me that I've showed the video to, who is that that's getting hit with the flame ball? Do we know?
We have no idea. And I actually personally, for the first time, talked to all the Rotary kids last weekend, and I met them, and they knew who he was, but they didn't like personally know him. That's Javon and his V6, and there's Gaz. This night was kind of tough because, you know, I told everybody we're just cruising. That's all we're doing. And you know, we get in the highway and you have somewhat decently quick cars cruising all together. Human instinct will kick in and your competitive spirit will kick in. And let's just say there was definitely some shenanigans going on. Most people see it as a waste of gas. We see it as something else. My professor asked me personally in front of my class after I showed my rough cut. He goes, oh, by the way, that Charger challenged Matt and his Mini Cooper. Did I say Challenger or did I say Charger? I meant to say Charger whatever.
Either or, they're both Challenger and Charger, they're both cars.
And he goes, did you film any of the street racing? And I'm like, and I just nodded with a big grin on my face. And he goes, you aren't supposed to tell me that. And I'm like, Well, that's just too bad.
Technically, you didn't tell him.
Technically speaking. Oh, for the credits, I wanted to do something really cool, but I was on such a time crunch that I couldn't. I just did a basic animation and all that fun stuff, all the extras. But yeah. Oh, Justin Johnson is my friend Jake's brother. He's in the military, and he helped me interview Matt and Jake. Everyone goes, "What? Who's that?" And well, that concludes this commentary. Think we got everything?
I think so.
All right. Well, stay tuned for more videos, and thanks for watching.